Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Keeping It Real, starring me, David King. I am here today with a friend of mine and a person who lives right here in the town, a state of Connecticut. My longtime friend, Fredric Cilbrith. Freddie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dave, for having me.
You're very welcome. Freddie, there's a lot going on right now. A lot going on in the state right now. Summer break is out. We got the soccer games going on all around the globe right now. But one issue came to mind. A couple of days ago, I was talking with Sheriff Goodman, and those who watch Dave Goodman's show, The Reality of Bridgeport, we were talking about an issue where I think me and you both can relate, because there were these two kids that ended up being molested who has a disability. And my thing is, I want to know, coming from a person who I have a disability, I mean, how does that affect you? Or does that even affect you at all?
Well, I don't think it's right for somebody to be molested because they have a disability, because that's just taking advantage of a person.
I think it's wrong regardless, disability or not. But I mean, there are some sick people, in the world, and a lot of people have no respect for other people and treat people poorly. And before we get back into that subject, and Fred, you, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, he is a resident here in Connecticut. You attend school, is that correct?
Yes.
Right. You attend, what school do you attend actually?
Conneticut Community College.
Conneticut Community College. So, Fred, if you don't mind me saying, I'll let the viewers know Freddie here is a person in the community who actually has a disability as well as myself. Now, you go to Housatonic. Do you ever face any discriminations with your peers at Housatonic?
In high school I did. In college I haven't really experienced any of that.
So do you feel that people in college are more likely to accept people with disability?
Yes.
You really do? And you saying you never had any problems with disability, not even from staff at the school?
Well, I would get personal resource. You would go to the resource center and they would have you sign a paper to get extra time in class. So, but I only use that when I need to really use it.
Now, is that for everybody, or is that for certain people, or how exactly does that work?
I think it's only for people with disabilities.
And how much time do you get for extended time?
It depends on the class and how hard the subject is. My personal subject would be math. I'm not good at math at all.
Don't feel bad, neither am I.
I'm more of an English major.
English major is good. Speaking of majors, what is your major?
Journalism.
Journalism. Wow. I mean, I'm not good at writing, so you couldn't ask me to write anything when it comes to journalism. But I really ask you this because, that really bothered me, hearing about these kids that was molested, who are mentally challenged, who have challenges in life, and for somebody to take advantage of these kids, or even to let these kids, I believe it was two kids who kind of molested each other, but where was the people who were in charge of these kids? Where was the people that were supposed to be in charge of what they were doing, or anything like that? And this is a problem. This is one of the few problems that we face, not only here in Bridgeport, also in Connecticut in general. And a lot of that, we've been talking about for weeks and weeks, and it starts with families. I mean, most of my viewers know me and my family don't have a very good relationship, unfortunately, but I have a lot of good friends and good people that support me. How's the relationship with your family?
Well, my parents are divorced.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I think it's 15 years.
Wow, 15 years, folks. 15 years.
Oh, no, I think it's 12. My bad. With my father, I have a good relationship. He's always been there for me. My mother, I haven't really talked to.
Now, is that because you just choose not to, or she just doesn't want to talk to you?
It's a bit of both.
A bit of both. Yeah. And since, and a lot of kids, folks need to understand, a lot of kids, when your parents get divorced, it does affect a lot of kids. It affects a lot of families. It changes how they look at life. It changes how they look at school, and it lowers their own self-esteem. When your parents got divorced, did it lower your self-esteem? Did it,
It lowered my self-esteem because my mother would fight with me all the time, but the one person that was always there was my father.
And your mother would fight with you over, just nothing major, like little stuff? Was it like, because she didn't feel you could achieve anything? Was it anything in that matter?
It was like little stupid things, but those add up over time, obviously.
And today, is your self-esteem, still down, or is it?
I would say, for me personally, it'd be medium.
Medium. For me, my parents were never married, but my family and my parents not being together or there for me, it lowered my self-esteem a lot of times, and a lot of times I didn't have a lot of courage to do a lot of stuff until recently. After that, my mentor helped me and kind of boost my confidence to really get out in the community and really do something. I was like, I didn't want to really do anything. You are doing a remarkable thing. You're in college, and a lot of folks, this is a young man here who has a disability who's in college still, and you have a lot of people who don't have a disability who's not even attending college, or those who want to attend college. It's a big issue for a lot of people who want to go to college, but they can't even read because the educational system has basically set them up not even to be able to go to college without the ability of reading and writing. What do you feel about that?
They should be able to go to college, but the fact is, can they be able to deal with the social, the academic, and the actual work that you need to put into college?
But do you feel like the school system basically failed these kids because they just didn't care, or do you really feel that it was just the kids who just didn't want to learn? For me personally, I think it is the few that didn't want to learn, but then there's also a few who want to learn who had a very difficult time with academics. And a lot of these teachers knew that when they came into the high schools, that, this girl, this guy, they couldn't read, but they flushed them through the system and gave them diplomas. And now you have a majority of people out here all over the place who have diplomas, but really in a way don't have a diploma because they have no education. They have a piece of paper that says they're educated, but if you put a newspaper in front of them, they couldn't tell you what the first sentence was on the Sunday morning paper.
A lot of people have asked me, should you put AIDS in college? Well, they don't have AIDS, but they have something like the Disability Resource Center at Housatonic Community College that you can go to, and it's all free. So that comes with going to the college. It's not like you have to pay for it or anything like that.
Very good. Do you feel that there should, in elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, they have what they call special education system. Do you feel that colleges should have a special education system?
For someone that's entering college?
Well, not just for somebody that's entering college, more of somebody who, has low academics, who can't go back to high school because they have a high school diploma, but they would like to attend college, but because of their academic level, they can't just attend a regular college course. Do you feel that college should have a special ed program so like these kids could actually attend college and still be able to help them achieve goals that they might want to achieve?
Yeah. I think they should have one class where if you didn't pass a certain level of math or a level of English, it's in that class. But after you pass that class, you have a certificate or a piece of paper saying, I passed the class, now I can go to bigger classes. Because then it preps them for what they're going to get to in college.
Right. And not for nothing, even if the person couldn't get an actual degree, if the person could actually pass his courses or her courses in a special ed program in colleges, they'd be able to walk with the class and get a certificate, but it brings a sense of pride and joy to the families, and it makes the kid be happy because they had the college experience and they feel like they achieved something. And I feel that, colleges should have that system in the colleges. I mean, they have enough money. I mean, my God, I can only imagine how much it costs. How much does it cost to attend one class at Housatonic Community College?
When I started, it was $300.
$300, folks.
But now it's close to six, maybe.
6. Wow. Now, does that include books, or is that just for a seat like we're sitting right here in the classroom?
Well, to be honest, the class itself costs close to $500, if not over that. Plus, you're adding books now, folks. If you don't know where to go, you're going to the bookstore. They're gonna charge you an arm and a leg for a book, but depending on if it's used or new, if you get them used or cheaper, new they're more expensive.
And when you say
obviously.
cheaper, how cheaper would you say cheap? How cheap we're talking?
Well, let's say you take like a $300 book, and then you go and say, okay, I need this book, but I want it used, and it'll have an orange sticker on it saying it's used.
Okay.
It'll be probably about like $150.
Wow.
That's still cheap considering it's a college book, though.
Now $150. Now you guys. Now they don't give you guys bus passes, do they? Or do they give you bus passes to take the bus, or do they pay for your trip? Wow. So you're saying it costs? You said, what is it? You said $600 for a class.
$600 altogether.
$600 altogether, and that does not include food, right?
Right.
Or transportation to and from college.
That's if your parents can pick you up and drive you there and do that.
And I know a lot of folks out there are like, oh, well, you got financial aid, but not everybody can qualify.
I mean, I got financial aid, but I took 2 classes last semester and then class before, and I only got like 150 some odd back from financial aid last year.
And for folks at home or young people at home that are wondering, how does that work? When you get financial aid, is it like they pay for the whole school year, or do you have to do a certain thing to keep them paying for your financial aid?
They pay for it, but it depends on how many classes you take. Like, they'll give me $5,000 for the year for that one semester, but that's partial to if I'm taking 4 classes. 4 classes, you're talking $5,000.
Okay,
that's not including books and everything else. It's just including tuition and classes and all that.
Right. Now, with that, like, okay, let's say if I took classes, I took 4 classes, and I failed 2 of the classes, but passed 2 of the classes. You got 4, I passed 2, I failed 2. How does that work with financial aid?
I think you would I don't know the logistics of it, but you would have to
somewhere around pass the majority of your class kind of thing?
Yeah, you'd have to pass half in order to qualify for it.
Exactly. So you're saying pretty much you have to pass the majority of your class schedule. So basically, if you take one class and you fail that one class, they just stop paying, or do you get a warning? Or
I think if you fail one class on financial aid, you get a warning, and then you have to go back and pass it. You have to retake it and pass it. But what they told me is that if you fail in class and you want to retake it, financial aid isn't going to pay for it. Because I took Italian, and I barely passed that with a C, but...
Well, at least you passed, I'll say that much.
Yeah. But what they told me is that if I fail that class and I want to take it again to get the higher grade, because if you get a C or higher in a class, it'll transfer. So if you get a B in Italian instead of a C, you have to pay for that extra class or that extra time that you want to take it.
Now, going back to what we were talking about when it comes to financial needs, now does the college allow you guys to work, or do they give you guys jobs or anything like that to help, I guess, pay for expenses in the college? Or they
give you jobs, but it depends on what you get from financial aid. how much you're applying for, how much you get.
You know, and also talk about jobs. I have a disability. You have a disability. I've been saying it all today on the show.
Right.
When it comes to employment, do you feel that it is hard? I mean, the economy is rough for everybody, but do you feel that it's a little harder when you have a disability to get a job?
It is harder because somebody can walk in there with a disability and say, here's an application, and the boss will look at them and say, oh, he might not be able to do the job that, just by judgment, he might not be able to do the job that's required. But you don't know the person. That's the point.
Wow, folks. So basically what Freddie here is saying is that when a person that has a disability walks into a job or roll into a job or whatever the case may be, that a lot of employers do kind of label them because, well, look at this person. They have a disability, so they might not be able to do the job, which I feel that is wrong, and that is not the case. As a matter of fact, I know a lot of jobs feel, oh, he or she could be a liability. But, you'd be surprised, a lot of people, in the world or in the community who have a disability can do a job probably better than some people who don't have a disability. I mean, I know I've been working at my job that I work at, and I'm lucky enough to still be there at my job, and of course, I'm also lucky enough to be doing this show, and of course, Francisco, my producer, who is producing my show that I'm on, and thank you, Francisco, for producing the show. But employment is a big deal. I mean, now for you, do you work or do you have a job or anything like that?
Honestly, I just go to college.
Just go to college.
I'm looking for a job.
Now, has it been hard for you?
It has been hard, because transportation for me is a big deal. Because learning to take the bus system and trying to find out how to get to where you want to go is a big deal for me. But I am trying to get in the right path of doing that.
Now, you don't live in Bridgeport. Tell the viewers at home, what part of Connecticut do you actually live in?
Folks, I live in Milford.
He lives in Milford. Now, in Milford, is there a bus system similar to here in Bridgeport? I know Bridgeport is a really heavy populated bus system.
Milford has only probably 2 buses that I know of that go around there. I've heard there's more, but more than 2 that go around Milford. There's the Coastal Link and the West Shore bus that I know of. Other than that, I know nothing, but there isn't really a bus system in Milford. Everybody uses cars.
So, I mean, you got to say, for a person like you, if you get a job, can be a real big challenge, and especially I want to say around, in general, like winter. Like the winter months could be very, very, very tough to get around. I mean, do you feel that they should have more bus routes in Milford? And not just Milford, but other towns, like I know there's the Valley of Conneticut and Orange and all them other places in Connecticut. I mean, I feel there should be more bus routes for people to take more buses. I mean, me and you've been friends. I mean, hey, if I wanted to visit you, I mean, you're lucky enough your family to bring you down here today to be on the show, which once again I thank you for that. But also, if I wanted to go see you, I know I have a hard time to get to you, and you would have a hard time getting to me.
Yeah.
Personally, I think they should make more bus routes. I mean, it kind of makes me a little aggravated sometimes. I don't know what it does to you, but I know I get very aggravated sometimes with that kind of thing.
I mean, when you don't know where to go or what bus route to take, or there's not enough buses to go where you want to go, that can become a problem.
It can become a very big problem, and it kind of shelters you from becoming more independent.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very lucky that I live here in Bridgeport, and even though we have a lot of problems here in Bridgeport, one of the good things in Bridgeport is the fact that we do have a good bus route. And I'm able to get around, and it gives me the ability to be more independent, for myself. But that's got to be tough to live somewhere where if you can't drive, or if you don't have a relative or a friend to take you around, you're pretty much homebound.
Yeah, I mean, I have friends and relatives that take me around places, and we do things, but I'm trying to learn how to get around, because then it's going to better myself, and I can say, okay, hey, so and so. You don't need to pick me up. I'll take the bus down somewhere.
I mean, exactly. I mean, independence is a key, folks. And for anybody out there who may have a disability of any sort, you are not exempt from society. You're not exempt from the community. You are part of the community, and we have every right. And I say we because I also have a disability. We have the right to get around the community and be just like everybody else. I know I think I'd go crazy if I was stuck in the house every day.
Yeah.
You know, and if I couldn't get out my house. I mean, I have a fit when the elevator don't work in my building that I live in, you know, but that's a whole nother story. But, you know, it would just drive me crazy being stuck in the house. So I can imagine, you know, for you, how it must feel to be stuck in the house. And where you live, is it a house? Is it a accessible housing? Is it?
It's a house.
It's a regular house.
Regular house.
Now, you said you live with
my dad.
You live with your dad. So you live in a regular house with your dad. And is it accessible? Or are you able to, you know, get in and out?
Yeah.
Well, that's very good. You know, there's a lot of people who have disabilities out there who they live in these places and they're not housing, they're regular houses, and their parents got to carry them up and down the stairs and carry their wheelchairs up and down the stairs because they can't get out of their home. You know, I think that should really change. I don't think that any landlord should be allowed to rent an apartment or rent a place to somebody that, if you know that they need accessible access, they should not be renting the third floor or fifth floor to a person with a disability. You see, this is what I'm saying. When people could be so inhuman when it comes to others in need, and not just people with disability, senior citizens, retired veterans who lost limbs in the wars, you know, who fought for our country. I think, you know, we should open our eyes and we have to understand that these are people too, and stop being like, well, they don't really matter. Because how would you like it? You know, folks out there might be like, well, whatever. Well, how would you like it if you were stuck in your house and you couldn't get out, and you couldn't be independent and have a life and go here or there or whatever? I mean, now, Fredric, you have kids? Are you married? Are you,
No,
you know,
I'm
dating
single.
anybody?
Well,
single. He's single. Well, ladies, you know, hey, he's single. You know, a clean-cut guy, you know. He's single, so I guess if any girls see this out there, you might get picked up by a bunch of girls. I mean,
I hope so.
do you feel that it, you know, when you talk about relationships, is it harder to get a relationship? Speaking with disability, I mean, for me, I think it's kind of a challenge because I do think that we are labeled because of the disability when it comes to relationships. Do you feel that's true?
We are labeled because of that.
Like, okay, how are you labeled when it comes to girls, or how do you feel that girls label you because of your disability?
Well, I could walk up to them and they could not know me, and I could not know them, and they would just be like, okay, here comes the guy with the weird walk.
Wow.
Or the guy with the limp.
The guy with the limp. I mean, and not even saying, folks, that you don't even know this man, how good of a heart he has, how good of a person he is. You will assume just because they are in a wheelchair or blind or walk different that, oh, wow, I don't want to give them a chance because of what other people may think. The reality is, it's not about what people think. It's about the person's heart. And I think we lost a lot of that, not only in Connecticut, but in this country. We lost a lot of that and caring for one another. And we now all we do is judge each other by how we dress and how we look and you know, what happened to just caring about the person for the person. I mean, you know, for me, I don't have a relationship, but I agree. I mean, I feel too like I go up to a girl, I roll up in my chair, hey, how you doing? And I feel like you get judged because, oh, well, you're in a chair, and the girl tells you, oh, well, I'm not looking for a guy right now. But then 2 weeks later, you see her with the guy that she said, I didn't want nothing to do with him. But you did all the work. You were nice to her when she was crying, helping her out with her kids, and you know, and all she said was she was not about that life, and yet you get the short end of the stick, and you have to admit, I mean, at least for me, it does lower your self-esteem.
It does. I'm not gonna lie with you.
You know, it really does lower your self-esteem, and it's got to be worse for those kids who are in high schools who, you know, are like, you know, I know I was one of those kids in high school. I went to prom by myself and sat at a table, and you were like, "Why am I even here?"
Yeah, when I went to prom, I was like, no, because by senior prom, I wanted to date.
Oh, I don't blame you, and you should. I mean, nothing really. You're a nice looking guy. I mean, you got things going for you. I mean, he's in college, folks. I mean, he's a very well mannered kid. I mean, I've known the kid for a while, but I mean, he's very outspoken. I mean, as you can see, he even dressed better than me today. I mean, he comes to the show, he outdressed the host. I mean, I don't know. We're gonna have to turn this into the Fred Cilbrith show. I don't know. Francisco's gonna have to fire me and then get you to be out.
No, I'll let you keep your day job
to run the show. But
I'll have you be the host.
but yeah, it's very hard with this. But I know for me, growing up was very hard to fit in because I got teased a lot. I don't know about you, but I got teased a lot as a kid.
I did, which lowered my self-esteem just walking into school and
bullying.
Like, hey.
They talk about all the time. Bullying has to stop, and it really does have to stop. You have to stop bullying all kind of kids and disabled kids, mentally challenged kids, even regular kids because of their color, because of their race, because they cannot read, because they cannot write. That doesn't make them any less of a person than me or you, period. I mean, at least I feel like I'm part of society, and I'm not gonna let nobody tell me that I'm not part of society. And for me, I will tell any kid that would come up to me and say, what advice can I give them if they have a disability or they've been teased or bullied for whatever the reason may be. Don't let nobody put you down. Don't let nobody tell you you can't be something, because that is a bull lie, and you can be anything that you want if you just believe in yourself. Yeah. I think a lot of times we lose faith in that, and a lot of us, we stop believing in ourselves. I know, for a while I was one of those guys who didn't believe in himself, and now here I am interviewing you on TV. I mean, for me, this has all like been a dream come true to be able to have a TV show and being able to work out in the community, and it's just been a whole dream come true. We're getting towards the end of our show here, and Freddie, before we go, is there any advice you want to give any kids that are coming out of high school? It's summer break and we're getting ready to have fun. Is there any advice that you can give any kid that's getting ready to go into college come this fall?
Just try to be yourself. Be the best person that you can be. Do the work. Put the hard work in. Try to be social. Try to put yourself out there, and you may be surprised at what you get in return.
Exactly.
I've made friends in college, and it's probably the greatest thing that.
And I don't see why not. You're a very cool guy. You're a very fun guy to be with, And I would say just stay focused and don't worry about the drugs and the alcohol and the partying. Stay focused on your goals. Stay focused on your career, and and you will reach the level of success no matter what your race is, no matter tall, short, skinny, fat, disabled, non-disabled. You can reach your goal if you just stay focused and work hard at it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm David King. You've been watching Keeping It Real. This is Fred Cilbrith. Thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you, Dave.
Everybody enjoy your holiday weekend, and please be safe, no drinking and driving, and tune in next week as we continue to keep it real right here in Bridgeport, Connecticut.